The night the mountains trembled, humanity realized it was no longer alone. For centuries, the peaks of Arkan Ridge had stood silent, massive, dark, and ancient, older than recorded history. Legends spoke of the Sleepers, monstrous beings entombed beneath the stone, sealed away by gods or forgotten civilizations. Most dismissed these tales as folklore, but when the first tremor shook the valley, everything changed. Dr. Ilara Voss adjusted her headlamp, staring at the cracks spreading across the cavern walls. She was an archaeologist, leading a team excavating a newly discovered underground temple. The carvings they had uncovered were unlike anything she'd seen, towering humanoid figures with monstrous claws, surrounded by flames and oceans of blood. Her assistant, Malik, called from behind, "Dr. Voss, you need to see this." In the torchlight, a colossal stone sarcophagus dominated the chamber. Symbols glowed faintly on its surface, shifting, pulsing, as though alive. The air turned cold. "Ilara," Malik whispered. "It's breathing." Before she could respond, the ground erupted. A deafening roar shattered the silence as the stone lid cracked open. A massive claw, black as obsidian, tore through the air. The ancient monster had awakened. 3 hours later, the nearby mining town of Arkaron lay in ruins. Security footage showed only chaos. Shadows larger than buildings, moving impossibly fast. Screams filled the air before static overtook every feed. By morning, the town was gone. Ilara and Malik, barely escaping the temple, watched the smoke rise from a distance. They had no idea how many had died. Only one thing was certain: the creature was hunting. And it wasn't alone. Satellite imagery revealed movement beneath the earth, dozens of readings spreading out like veins from the mountains, converging toward populated areas. The monsters were spreading within hours. Global panic erupted. News channels looped footage of massive silhouettes moving through fog, of entire villages wiped from maps overnight. The military was mobilized: tanks, jets, drones, everything humanity could muster. In a secret underground facility, General Kane addressed the assembled team. "These aren't myths. They're biological weapons of nature, ancient, dormant titans. We're calling them primordials." Ilara, now working with the military, studied ancient tablets retrieved from the ruins. The inscriptions hinted at a catastrophic war thousands of years ago. Gods versus beasts. The monsters weren't natural. They were punishment, and now they were free again. The first direct engagement happened near the Blackstone Forest. A creature the size of a skyscraper, resembling a hybrid of dragon, centipede, and wolf, tore through armored convoys like paper. Its roar shattered windows miles away. Missiles and bombs only made it angrier. Ilara watched the live feed in horror. "You can't kill something that predates death," she muttered. But Malik pointed out something strange. The symbols on the creature's skin matched those from the temple. Each symbol represented a seal, and one by one they were glowing red. "They're not waking randomly," Malik said. "Someone, or something, is calling them." Deep in the ruins, a radio frequency began emitting pulses. A pattern, a call. When decoded, it translated into ancient script meaning, "Rise, my children." The team realized there was a central consciousness behind the awakening, a being far greater than the monsters themselves. Ilara followed the signals to their source, the ruins of a sunken city beneath the Arctic Circle. Legends called it Catharos, the city of the gods. She and Malik joined an international expedition to reach it, but the journey was a nightmare. As their submarine descended into the icy abyss, massive shapes moved beyond the sonar range. When they finally reached the ruins, they found colossal statues, humanoid but alien, surrounding an enormous black obelisk. Energy pulsed within it, as though it were alive. Malik whispered, "It's not a statue." "It's an egg." The obelisk cracked open. A surge of energy burst forth, knocking everyone off their feet. The water boiled. Out of the darkness emerged a creature unlike the others, wingless, eyeless, but radiating power. Its presence alone warped gravity and light. Ilara's mind filled with visions, civilizations burning, oceans drying, skies blackened. The entity communicated not with words, but with thought. "We slept because you were not ready. Now your world is ripe again. It was Cathar, the father of the monsters, the god of extinction. Ilara realized the truth. The monsters weren't invaders. They were reset mechanisms, nature's answer to human arrogance. Every few millennia, when civilization reached too far, the primordials awakened to start the cycle anew, and humanity had just triggered them again. Within days, major cities fell. Tokyo drowned beneath a tidal wave created by Leviathan. The deserts of Egypt split open as serpent-like colossi slithered through the sands. New York was consumed in fire as winged horrors blotted out the sun. The world was collapsing, but amid the chaos, Ilara discovered a final message within the ancient texts, a way to seal the monsters once more. The ritual required a sacrifice and the heart of the earth, a mythical core of energy said to lie deep beneath Arkan Ridge. She knew what she had to do. Ilara, Malik, and a small strike team descended back into the mountains where it had all begun. The earth trembled constantly now. The air reeked of ash. As they reached the ancient chamber, they found it transformed. Glowing veins of molten light pulsed through the stone. Cathar's voice echoed everywhere, whispering promises of godhood, of immortality. Malik turned to Ilara, fear in his eyes. "If we do this, we die," Ilara nodded. "If we don't, everyone dies." They began the ritual. Ancient chants filled the cavern. The ground cracked open, revealing a swirling vortex of energy, the planet's heart. But Cathar appeared, its colossal form squeezing through the earth, reaching toward them. Malik was caught and crushed instantly. Ilara screamed, but continued the incantation, channeling every ounce of willpower into the spell. The vortex exploded in light. Pain seared through Ilara's body. She felt her soul ripping apart as the ritual took effect. The monsters across the globe froze mid-rampage. Their roars turned into screams as light consumed them. One by one, they turned to stone, collapsing into dust. Cathar's body began to disintegrate, but his voice echoed in her mind. "You conceal us. But we will never die," Ilara smiled weakly. "Then I'll make sure you never wake again." She plunged herself into the vortex, completing the seal. The mountains collapsed, burying everything. The world went silent. Epilogue. The new dawn months later, survivors began to rebuild. The skies cleared. The monsters were gone. Humanity mourned billions lost, but hope returned. At a memorial site near Arkan Ridge, a statue of Ilara Voss stood tall, carved from the very stone that once imprisoned the monsters. Beneath it a plaque read, "She gave her life so the world could dream again." But far below, in the dark heart of the earth, faint cracks spread across the stone. From within, something ancient stirred once more. A single whisper echoed through the void. "The cycle will begin again."